Hello, everybody. It's airdrop season. It's alt season all of a sudden. Just a massive swing, a massive reversal in a very short window of time. Thank you all for joining. Sorry, my voice might be a little bit shot. For those who like, sorry, my voice might be a little bit Tesla. I just spent over 2 hours recording with Herbert Ong today. That video will drop on Sunday on his channel. So check it out. Breakthrough video. Mark my words, if you like financial modeling. But we're going to talk about crypto today, right now, all season. And let's jump in. And now this is financial advice. Don't forget to subscribe. This is such a crucial time to be alive. Crazy stuff going on everywhere. So let's talk about Bitcoin first. We'll talk about the halving cycle. This is yet another view of where we are. I've always talked about higher and earlier. And focus your eyes on that little gray bar. And yes, we are higher and earlier. And the halving is quickly approaching in April 2024. And some people now coin this Bitcoin 4.0. Obviously, regulatory clarity, broader acceptance. Bitcoin stands on the brink of its coming of age story. And the expectation is the approval of the Bitcoin ETF will take this thing to the moon. And Bitcoin will transition to a more stable and accepted member of the financial community. But if you listen to some of the American politicians, they don't want that to happen. Nor do the banks, because they stand to not benefit. Lose. So the world is corrupt, and a lot of people now are echoing this is a similar time. For those of you who may remember the 90s with the internet, and how the internet was going to destroy phone companies. Yes, that's what happens. It's called disruption. That's what this channel is about. So good luck trying to stop it. Anyway, spot ETF talks are heating up. This is from CNBC. There's many advanced meetings happening. They're really ironing out all the details from all the leading players. Looks like 3 are definitely in the hot seat. They may approve them all at once. We're not sure. I guarantee you BlackRock will be in there too. Maybe names like Van Eck. Maybe, of course, Grayscale has to be converted too at some stage. So exciting times ahead, and time is going so fast, and we're seeing that reflected in the markets. In addition, to support this as well, if you look at the Bitcoin positioning, shout out to Sanjay for sharing this with me just before I streamed. This chart shows the number of Bitcoin contracts held in the asset manager category. Look at all that purple. Look at the previous cycles. Go back to 2020, 2019, 2018, 2021. It started happening very late 2021, but literally November 2023 and December, it's gone bonkers. There is a huge amount of futures trading on Bitcoin, and this includes mutual funds, pension funds, other long-only investors, asset managers, hedge funds, CTAs, etc. And what's interesting is they are showing that they know a spot ETF is coming, but they can't buy the spot, so they need exposure, and they're doing it this way. So when the thing does pop, they are on the train. Now, the interesting thing about this is these holders might be on the train using this tool, and then once it's approved, they will sell this tool and they will buy the spot when the big announcement finally arrives. So this means they are positioning themselves, and it means it will probably not be a sell the news event. So many people right now, if you go to Twitter, all you see is, oh, it's going to sell. It's going to sell off when the spot ETF is approved. Then I'm going to buy in because I missed the boat. So I'm going to tell everybody it's going to fall when the news comes out. Ignore everything you see on Twitter. Except for, of course, my tweets, because they are on the money. Anyway, let's talk about other stuff with Bitcoin. Bitcoin Ordinals, auctions house Sotheby's announced their first sale of Bitcoin Ordinals connection. It's like, they normally do things like, fine pieces of art and everything else. Now Sotheby's is slinging these things. You can't make this up, but it's a fact. In addition, speaking of Ordinals, Jack Dorsey, who has his own separate mining business that they're setting up, they will censor ordinal inscriptions from their mining unit to help bring an end to the DOS attacks on Bitcoin. And this has made Jack Dorsey a little bit unpopular, but he's very much a purist. He wants Bitcoin to do what Bitcoin does as a store of value and not be monkeyed around with monkey JPEGs and inscriptions and all that type of stuff. Anywho, let's jump on to the next story. So there was a lot of talk and excitement about gold, and of course I don't like gold, but another beautiful chart here shows you indexed Bitcoin performance versus the dollar and gold in 2023. You can see Bitcoin outperforms US dollar by 141.6%, slightly old now, it's 143%, but Bitcoin outperforms gold by 107% year to date. So for those of you who think gold is your hedge, etc., it's not for the 100th time. Now, there's also some interesting things happening in the market right now as we speak. Let me check some of the numbers. We have certain things flying, literally flying. We see the biggest move in Ethereum in a long time. It's been on this downtrend. This is the Bitcoin ETH chart, and it's been on that downtrend for quite some time, but it just spiked and turned around. Watch this. This is the last few hours, and all the assets, Bitcoin down 1%, ETH up 5.38%, or the equivalent of, just Fammer, thank you so much, or the equivalent of about $130, which is a big move for Ethereum. Solana just hit $69, up 8% for the day. Optimism as well, up 8%. And a lot of the crappy coins down dark red. But that's what you call a pump and dump, ladies and gentlemen. Can't say you weren't warned here. My job is to make myself unpopular with the armies. But I don't care. I care about you out there who watch me. And I will always share the truth. And even, in fact, yesterday, somebody gave me a compliment. He said, I know you own Meta, but you dinged it hard yesterday. Yes, I will ding anything. I've been dinging Ethereum. I've got a big bag of Ethereum. I will always say what I feel. My positions will not color what I say to you all, okay? So I do not what to say. Shill my bags, pump my bags, talk my book, whatever you want to call it. Not my style. Now, in addition, this story is about AltSeason. Wow, this was a huge reversal in a very short window of time. On November 20th, you can, sorry, no, November 20th, this is December 7th. Sorry, I got my dates all wrong. I don't even know where I am. You can see the big swing now, back up to maybe 50. Okay, and this is just over the last month. Let's look at the assets over the last month compared to Bitcoin. You can see some have far, far, far outperformed Bitcoin just over the last 30 days, including the new Celestia, up a monstrous 318%. And they are doing some interesting things. I am not on, but that has a couple of things that I don't like, and that prevents me from jumping on the boat. But I'm very picky about what I invest in. Now, speaking of volume, this is interesting because a lot of people think, oh, it's all Bitcoin. Everybody talks about Bitcoin dominance and everything else. Well, let's look at some of the volume stories here. You can see the total breakdown of market share of crypto trade volume. Bitcoin is 28%. ETH 11%. Not today. I guarantee you ETH is a lot higher than that. And altcoins make up 67%. So altcoins have a huge amount of volume. Let's dig into exactly what's going on. So there's a lot of press everywhere. You're now hearing a term that you never really heard before, but now it's everywhere. Every headline has become, there's Bitcoin, there's Ethereum, and now people are talking about non-stop Solana. Now people are looking at things like Solana dominates Ethereum in daily active wallets. Could Solana go back to $140? A lot of crazy talk. Now, when Solana was languishing under $20 for the longest time, you tell them, oh, it could go to $140, they'd call you crazy. Anywho, Vlad, one of the reasons I believe for the pump today is Vlad, who's the CEO of Robinhood. He is launching crypto trading in the European Union, and they are adding Solana and other tokens as well. Remember, they were afraid of some SEC scrutiny, so they delisted Matic, Cardano, and Solana from Robinhood, which is a shame. They will come back, though, once Gary is gone. Can't deny, you can't, and the fact that, anyway, I'm not even going down the XRP case path, but that is another good headline. Another good one, too, is Solana ascending triangle formation anticipates price surge to $90, considering just nearly hit 70 a few minutes ago. 90 target, potentially in sight. Let's check out this ascending triangle and see what it looks like. Well, you can always find lines to draw on a chart. This is from Ali charts. But yes, that breakout looks interesting. But again, it's on such a short time frame that, you could find this pretty much anywhere. But he was right. It did break out. In addition, you all know my Solana upside model. This was built 2 years ago in anticipation of 4 things. 1, Solana would crush the Cardano market cap. Check. Actually, I need one of those memes, with the doors of the guy with the big scythe and he slays the doors. Bet you every time I say that, people make these things up for me. It's amazing. There's like meme factories out there. But the 4 things, 6%, slay Cardano market cap, slay 6% of ETH market cap, slay 10% of ETH market cap, and then 20% of ETH market cap. Well, 3 of those 4 have just been achieved today. This is the chart from the Sol Upside model, and it's free. If you go to investanswers.io, you can just pull it down yourself there. And what's interesting now is if you look at the kind of line, I think the purple is Cardano, the green is 6% of ETH, the yellow is 10% of ETH. We just broke through 10% of ETH market cap for the first time since early 2022. That's nearly 2 years ago. That's a breakout. And next in the box is 20% of ETH market cap, which is about $139, assuming the price of ETH stays stable. This has always been my thesis. I make my theses up. They last for a long time, make them years ago, and we just wait for them to hit. And invariably, they do. Looking at Solana as well in the ATR model, you can see here, broke through layer 1, heading to layer 2, and a long way to go. So when people talk about stuff, is it possible for it to go to some crazy numbers after where it's come from? Anything is possible with crypto, and that's why it's so fascinating. It's so risky. Remember, 98% is trash. Be in the top 1%. Maybe dabble in the next 1% for a short speculation and then bounce. Remember, there are people trading against you. Okay, so if you do get on a risky train, just get on it for 1 stop or so and then bounce. Now, let's look at daily active users by chains. First of all, you can see Solana's now 440,000 daily active users, Polygon 373, Ethereum 344,000, Arbitrum 114,000, Phantom still languishing around 30k, Base 41,000, Avalanche 43,000, Optimism 61, Aptos 25, Sui 12,000, and Cardano didn't report daily information today, so I don't have that number. Now, let's talk about the big story about what's happening. You've heard me say before, Black Hole Sun is kind of my theme this year. Great song for those of you who know it. But this is what I mean by Black Hole Sun. Shout out to Bobby Applerod and the team on Discord who shared it with me. He's got a very funny Twitter handle. You can't forget this one. Tofu, I won't say the S word, Tofu Poop 888. It's hilarious. But how can you possibly look at this chart and still fade Solana? Slowly, then all at once. This is what I'm talking about. And this Sankey chart, by the way, I'm a big fan of Sankey charts, been using them for over 5 years now, shows you all the transfers from on the left, starting with Ethereum in blue, all the way down to that little bit of pink in Solana, all the way to the right. And what's the big bucket that's catching it all? That's even bigger than the amount of sending from Ethereum. It's pink. It's Solana. That's what's happening. We are seeing a massive migration to the black hole as forecast. It's just how the world works. Now, speaking of other things that are happening in the space, DePIN, which is decentralized physical infrastructure, is also growing hot. It's a big theme in 2023. It's going to be another big narrative in 2024. Here are some of the players. Filecoin up 86% year to date. ICP 28%, but we don't like it. But we like other names. Render 802%. I own Render in full disclosure. Theta 47%. Helium 238%. BitTorrent 22%. Arweave 33%. Akash, 870%. Two of these big gainers are both DePINs on what platform? Yes, Solana. Yes, everything's moving to the... Somebody sing the song for me. Yeah, black hole. Now, other news as well to prove my black hole theory. It's so funny. I was expecting it to happen, but never saw so many data points hitting all in one day. This is the altcoin trade volume on US available exchanges. You can see all the volume is Solana in the US, despite the fact the SEC tried to make everybody delisted. It doesn't matter. You can't stop it. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube. So, but guess what's number 2 is Dogecoin, which is insane. People are still degenning and YOLOing into crazy stuff. Speaking of Dogecoin, which I never talk about, happy birthday, Doge, 10 years old. I think dog years, 7 years, isn't it? Anyway, according to this, it's 56 years in dog years, but amazing. What came out as a joke is still heavily traded. So, what a world in which we live. That's why some people say crypto doesn't die. Now, speaking of meme coins, there are crazy things happening. It shows you the nature of humans, and there are people making insane money on some of these things too. This is Bonk. Bonk just flipped ApeCoin, going from position 89 to position 88. And next in the box, you see names like PancakeSwap and Pepe and Chili's and all these things. This is incredible. And yes, Bonk is another Solana system coin. So all of the action is now happening on one chain. All of the uses, all of the volume. And that's just what's happening now. A little bit of bad news. We do have a champion of crypto who is in Congress, I think on the Financial Services Committee. He will serve another year, but after that, he is out. He will leave, and that's sad. It's sad to lose people. I kind of get it, but hopefully they'll have a good replacement. And final piece of news as well, for the team out there in India. India is becoming a force to be reckoned with. There's a chart here showing the regional leaders that will pass the size of the EU if current trends continue. They are India, Brazil, and Saudi Arabia. That little clicking noise was somebody liking the Sol Upside model. Crazy, imagine that. But yes, not only is India becoming a force to be reckoned with, but the amount of crypto adoption there is going up and to the right. True S-curve. We are so early in crypto. The future is extremely bright. And I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you to everyone on Patreon. Thank you all for being here. Quick one today because I was working all day on a separate video that you will see on Sunday. So thank you, everybody. See you all later. Bye-bye. And thank you to the mods in the chat and Jeff Hammer. And I saw Benny there too. And Liam. And where's Sean Donnelly? He's normally always here. Anyway, what day is it today? It's Thursday. Thank you all for coming. Have a great Thursday. Tomorrow's Friday. Then the weekend begins. See you.